How's it going, Alexa?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well, thank you. For those of you who are tuning in, this is our Rebel News daily live stream, which airs every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We're currently streaming on YouTube, Rumble, Getter, and Odyssey. But halfway through the show, YouTube viewers, we're going to be getting off YouTube. So make sure you click the link in the description at about the half an hour mark and head over to one of our other streaming platforms, preferably Rumble. We're trying to convert you guys to be, exclusive Rumble users. So make sure you click the link in the description and send us your chats. We're going to try to read them throughout the show. And of course, we appreciate your generous donations. And we want this to be a nice, fun, collaborative effort. So again, send in your chats. And should we get into it, Alexa?
Oh, yes. By the way, you look lovely.
Oh, thank you. So do you. Are you wearing a Rebel News shirt?
Yeah.
Ooh, you'll own nothing and you will be happy. That sounds heartwarming. Who doesn't love a good Great Reset shirt? Well, yes. You rock it. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the Great Reset a bit today later on in the show, guys, so stay tuned for that. But right now, maybe while you're wearing a shirt, we should maybe promo the store. Right now we have a wonderful discount code. Use code SUMMER at checkout and you get buy 2 unisex shirts, get 1 unisex shirt for free. So that's use code SUMMER at checkout, get 1 unisex shirt free when you buy 2. That's a really good deal if you ask me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun.
I actually love them.
Yeah, well, you always wear them and you look so good. So if you want to look as good as Alexa, go to rebelnewsstore.com, use promo code SUMMER at checkout, buy 2 shirts, get 1 for free, y'all. I think the code's live until the end of summer, and summer is ending pretty soon, unfortunately.
And you can have your mug.
Yay! Perfect. Everything you own is Rebel News, isn't it? No.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Send the wall.
Yeah. I love it. Well, should we get into things? I think we have a clip here from Tucker Carlson. So Tamara Lich's lawyer, Keith Wilson, joins Tucker Carlson to speak on her release after 49 days spent in jail in connection to her peaceful protest of Justin Trudeau's COVID-19 mandates by organizing the Freedom Convoy. So we're just going to let this clip roll.
So Fidel Castro ruled Cuba as a tyrant for decades. Probably shouldn't surprise you that his apparent son, Justin Trudeau, is trying to do the same to Canada. Justin Trudeau was jailed, one of the leading organizers of the Canadian Freedom Convoy, which committed no violence. It formed to protest his lunatic vaccine mandates. We're getting an update on that case because we think it informs what's happening in our country. That's straight ahead. For decades, Americans used to make fun of Canada for being boring. Oh, it's all Molson and sled dogs, the great white waste of time. All right, well, things got pretty exciting in Canada when it descended into authoritarianism. The leader of Canada, effectively a dictator now, banned handguns. He also outlawed freedom of speech. Earlier this year, Justin Trudeau's government arrested a woman called Tamara Lich. Her crime was organizing a protest against vaccine mandates, not hurting anybody, speaking her views. Here she was in February.
It's not an illegal protest. It's in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
And so, what's your response then if you do get arrested, if you're the next person that police do arrest?
I'd love it if you'd speak louder.
She wants to know what my response would be if I get arrested.
What's the response? Hold the line!
Hold the line.
So for complaining about Justin Trudeau's complete mismanagement of his once great country, she was jailed for 18 days. Then when she was released on bail, Justin Trudeau had her jailed again. Why? What was the crime? Well, she appeared in a photograph with someone Justin Trudeau doesn't like. Thankfully, there is at least one check or balance left in Canada. Wednesday, a judge ordered her released from jail. Keith Wilson is her attorney. He joins us now. Mr. Wilson, thanks so much for coming on. So are we overstating or oversimplifying what happened to your client? Did she commit some violent crime that we're not aware of?
No, she committed the most minor crime that we have in our criminal code, Tucker, and it's called the crime of mischief. It's the same crime that the police, if they find teenagers misbehaving in a park, they'll threaten them with to get them to go home and back to the basement. It's remarkable what's happened here. As you know well, our Prime Minister has expressed admiration for 2 different government systems in the world. One is Communist China, and the other is his dear friend, or perhaps more, the Castro's Cuba. And we're no longer the true north, strong and free.
No longer a free country, and I say that with great sadness as a genuine admirer of Canada. So I wonder, is anyone noticing? I mean, if your prime minister jails a woman and tries to keep her there without bail because she complained about him. That seems like a human rights violation of the most serious magnitude. Has anyone said anything about this?
Well, it's more than a human rights violation, as you can appreciate, and what Americans need to understand is this is a deliberate attempt by the Trudeau government to intimidate Canadians. Look what Tamara did. She inspired not only Canadians, thousands of truckers, to drive to Ottawa, to stand for their rights and stand against the authoritarian overreach from these COVID policies. But she also inspired protests around the world. And the Prime Minister, I think, wants to send a message to Canadians that if you dare challenge me and challenge my view of what living under my reign should look like, you will suffer consequences. She's a 49-year-old grandmother and mother, no criminal record. She spent 49 days in jail under ridiculous and troubling circumstances.
Last question briefly. Has the United States government, has our State Department lodged a protest against this horrifying abuse?
They haven't, but what's happening, which is really important, is even people who are kind of middle of the road or bought the COVID mandate line are starting to question whether our fundamental institutions up here are becoming corrupt. You know, that to see this happen, to see a nonviolent citizen with no criminal record spend this time of jail, be rounded up by homicide detectives, paraded in chains and shackles, flown through airports across our country to go to be put in a jail cell in Ottawa, has really shaken a lot of people's sensibilities about how badly off track things are up in Canada.
Good. Well, I hope it awakens them. I really do. Keith Wilson, thank you for all the work you're doing on her behalf and on your country's behalf. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ooh. Do you think a lot of Canadians are aware that we're becoming a more authoritarian nation, that we're not really as free as I think people think we might be? Like, do you think people are waking up to this?
I would say the only people who don't wake up is us. Everybody around the world see Canada losing more and more rights and being like more authoritarian, but us, we are like,
we're asleep. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
It's so fascinating because, like, with the Emergencies Act and the narrative around the truckers convoy, I mean, you were in Ottawa for weeks, and were any of the protests violent at all?
at all. And
Yeah.
as I see, like for Tamara, she was always peaceful. She never did something like completely, I would say, illegal. Like she just created the convoy, but afterwards, it's the part of each individual people to be responsible of their act. She's not the mama. She's not the mother of all the people who were there. Some of them were not part of the convoy at all. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, why they target her?
Yeah.
Because her role was finishing when the convoy came almost like in Ottawa, because afterwards they had some convoy that was not part of the beginning. And afterwards, some other people joined, and now because she created the movement, she's responsible of everybody. No, I don't think so.
That's a really great point. Why is she being held accountable for the actions of thousands and thousands of other Canadians? That's an excellent point. I do really appreciate that Tucker is someone who is highlighting this, because I think like he has he does have a bit of an audience here in Canada too. So hopefully the word does continue to get out. I mean, with Pastor Archer's recent verdict, you know, about him being essentially a free man, maybe the tables will turn and our legal system will benefit Tamara too. I don't know. It's interesting though to see what will happen for her.
Yeah, and I'm actually really glad that, you know, US is talking about it, but when we see Canada, nobody is talking about it, or only us, True North, and some independent other journalists. But if we look like a mainstream media, what did they say about like the organizer of the Freedom Convoy? They are all criminal and they almost should be in jail. I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and the mainstream media is such a monster in this country that whatever lies they spew, for some reason Canadians are still so susceptible to those lies and they're believing them, and it's just it's hard for the truth to come out when there's so many lies being like thrown at people all the time. But hopefully the treatment of this peaceful protester, Tamara Lich, will open people's eyes to see that like things are not okay in this country.
You know that we have a freedom fighter in Quebec, huh? And he had the same treatment as her,
Really?
defying and questioning this guideline of the government. He was thrown in jail almost 4 months, and his crime, questioning the government, being too close from the premier and asking questions about the COVID-19. But he never did something bad and illegal. So he was targeted, thrown in jail for months, and at the end, you know what? They tried to put it back in jail again, and they say, "Oh no, he did too much jail already, so we cannot really put him back to jail because you have no reason for it."
Is this Francois Alamega? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
I think it's what they do. They take like the leader of some movement, because Francois Alamega is the leader of protests and defying the government, defying the curfew, and so they throw him in jail. So what they did with Tamara Lich is actually the same thing.
Yeah, it's like they try to make an example out of these political dissidents who are always peaceful. It's scary, the state of our country. And I mean, with the Great Reset kind of in full swing, it's about to potentially get even scarier here. Should we maybe cut to a trailer? So 3 of our Rebel News journalists, Dave, Lewis, and Kian, have produced and written this amazing documentary exposing the WHO and the World Economic Forum. So we're going to play a trailer for you because episode number 2 is coming out today, y'all.
When it was first published in 2016, the Fourth Industrial Revolution made the case that technology and digitization will revolutionize everything.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
Making the overused and often ill-used adage, this time is different. Simply put, major technology innovations are on the brink of fueling momentous change throughout the world. In the 4 short years since, technology progressed and moved impressively fast. AI is now all around us, from drones and voice recognition to virtual assistants and translation software.
Where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned, we don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Our mobile devices have become a permanent and integral part of our personal and professional lives, helping us on many different fronts, anticipations, our needs, listening to us and locating us, even when asked not to do so.
This is amazing.
Yeah, well, that was like incredible. What a talented team those 3 boys are, or men, I should say. I don't want to minimize them as boys, but if y'all want to support this great endeavor, you can go to exposethereset.com and donate to chip in and help us, produce more great documentaries like this. And as I said, the 2nd episode comes out tonight, so be sure to tune in, y'all. Amazing work by Kian, Dave, and Lewis. What do you think about the Great Reset?
I would say, like, I have the impression I'm looking at a horror story.
Yeah.
Like a horror movie, but it's real life.
Yeah. It's like, you gotta like laugh to keep from crying because it's very sinister. Like it's very creepy what's going on. And we've talked about this a few times already, but like this weird push to get us to eat bugs. You're very passionate about this. Have you been eating any more bugs since our last live stream?
No, but I order more.
Oh, good.
I would just try to find show.
Ah!
We can see the eyes.
No, I don't want to. It's just
and I have this spider just here. This is a spider, guys, and I have like really huge worm.
Ugh. That's so bad. It's nasty.
But this is for my next report. So I'm going to take the street and ask the people if they are really willing to trade their meat for these weird, disgusting bugs. But I'm not kidding. Like one of the bugs is like big like that.
That's disgusting. So you are saying live on the air that you will not be eating these bugs.
I'm gonna try. Like,
oh my
why
gosh! Well, you are much braver than I.
No, but like the fact that I am always curious in life. It's why I was traveling everywhere around the world, because I'm interested to know what is going on in other countries. Like I tried guinea pig in Peru, and I tried kangaroo when I was in Australia, and I tried snake before. That tastes a little bit like chicken, but I would say I'm actually open to try, but that doesn't mean that I want to change my diet with that.
Like permanently, you don't want to be forced to eat bugs. Yeah, I don't think most of us would. And we have a reporter in New York City, Jeremy Lafredo, who went and I think asked people if they would eat the bugs. So let's play a clip from that.
Yes.
Any way we can cut back eating meat is important.
What do you think about eating bugs?
Well, personally, I hate bugs, so I wouldn't, no.
So you wouldn't eat them?
Definitely not.
Not even to save the planet?
Well, to save the planet, I might give it a little consideration and maybe try it, but I hate bugs.
Instead of a steak or a burger, no.
You would support if they started, phasing out some animal proteins for bug proteins?
Definitely, yeah. Too many animals being butchered, contributing to, climate change, and we don't need all of it.
I'm more concerned about the fires and in our food processing plants, takeover of our farmland by billionaires. We've lived how many thousands of years with farming and animal husbandry, and suddenly we're supposed to go to crickets? I mean, come on. I'm sure that they're going to be targeting kids because it's going to be a cool factor for them.
Many adults that we've spoken to so far support the idea of eating crickets because they think it'll save the climate.
Oh, please. Oh, please. I've lived through 40, 50 climate hysterias in my life. Manhattan was supposed to already be covered with water. I don't see any rich people stopping their purchase of waterfront properties. Given what's happening in Holland with the farmers, this is all coordinated, without a doubt.
Disgusting. That shit nasty. Well, it's your choice to do what you want to do, but you shouldn't put it in all foods. You should let people choose what they want to do with their shit.
They say it'll help the environment. Do you think it'll help the environment?
The government says a lot of shit that it's not true all the time, so you never really know with them.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think anything to help the climate, and I think the government should support it.
It'd be pretty questionable. If I got a burger that was like a cricket burger, I'd be pretty concerned.
It's actually probably a bit healthier and cleaner of protein than what you would get with those other kinds of meats. I think it would be hard to get people to hop on board. There would be some reframing to be done, but
what do you mean by reframing?
A lot of people, there's like a stigma against eating bugs. Essentially, I feel like considered kind of nasty or just undesirable to a lot of people.
So there would need to be like a messaging.
Well.
But I'm really happy to see that in US, people were really like, no.
Yeah.
No, most of them. But when I went in Montreal, they were like, yeah, maybe. They were more like, I think like they are more brainwashed. Is it me or like Canada or maybe the French Canadian? Sorry, I don't want to like make mad nobody, but I think French Canadian, because they are blocked from, I don't know, some information that's come from the English side, and most of the people doesn't speak really English. I have the impression that they follow what they have been told to do, and they are really concerned about climate change, and they are really like listening what the government say, and this is my biggest concern.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought of Quebecers in that way, because I feel like my impression of people in Quebec is that you all have so much fight and spirit. Like even throughout the pandemic, your protests were so huge. But that's such a good point about your media, because you're kind of one of the only sources of truth in the media in Quebec. Like, that's a lot of pressure. Are there other media outlets there that are at all questioning the narrative at all, or?
They have like small studios, small media that are doing it now. It's called Libre Media, like free media, and they have like Lux Media, but it's not the same kind of media as us. Like, they are touching a lot of different other topic, and I have no time to watch them. Unfortunately, I have like enough with like everybody.
You're too busy. Yeah.
And I'm already like watching as well the mainstream, because it's what I do. I always watch what they are saying to always being sure that what they are saying is accurate or it's true. And most of the time I'm just like, yeah, okay.
It's almost like entertainment to an extent, because you're like, I cannot believe these media outlets are saying this and people are buying it. But it's really smart, I think, to be exposed to both sides, so that you're able to better expose what's really true, right? Oh, it looks like we actually have a chat here. Do we want to read one of these?
Already? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's great. So this is for $10 from JCMN84. Thank you so much. So BC government employee union vax mandates remain. For example, BC Liquor, BC Transit employees, etc. Healthcare nurses, paramedics, doctors were terminated while healthcare collapses. Time to hire back our heroes. Go to www.hirebackourheroes.ca. Yeah,
nice.
I think Drea actually did
but
a
nice
report.
for the website, but like not nice for what happened.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Yeah, it's like nice, but I think Drea has covered a lot of protests in BC, and there appears to be, according to many of the nurses she's interviewed in previous reports, that there has been a shortage before the pandemic. So firing unvaccinated employees just seems so illogical. I don't know.
For me, it makes no sense, because at the end of the day, we are all competent and we all know how to do our job. And I'm just scared that YouTube doesn't like it, but that doesn't stop the spread.
We love the vaccine here at Rebel News. So if any of the YouTube overlords are listening, we love the vaccine. Get your boosters. And lovely. Yeah. But yeah, it really just makes no sense that they would fire people when the industries are suffering staff shortages. So I don't know, maybe there will be a shift and they will hire these people back. What do you think? Do you think that like hospitals will start rehiring unvaccinated nurses and doctors?
Us, they kept them, like they didn't fire them because it didn't pass. I don't know if some of them have lost their job because they didn't want it to do the PCR test like 3 times per week. That was required. But I know one thing is like the illogical thing is they say, our premier say, I would never want to be treated by unvaccinated nurse, but afterwards, like maybe a month after, they say, oh, the vaccinated nurse, same if you test positive to COVID, you can go and work still. I was like, what?
Yeah, that makes no sense. And it's like, if you were injured or like bleeding out or something and you had to go to the hospital, I don't think you'd care who it is that's treating you. I think you just want to get treatment so you can get better. Like, no one in an emergency is like, can I see your papers? Like, that would be so silly.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, seriously, for me, it's just doing just this, like saying, oh, you're positive, but you can work. And, but you're healthy, not bad, you cannot work.
Yeah.
For me, it's not following the science.
Ooh. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, it's an excellent point. It's so illogical. It makes absolutely no sense, and the fact that people are like believe the narrative, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Should we maybe start? We're getting a little racy here. Do you think it's time we start to maybe switch over to YouTube? I mean, off of YouTube? All right, so we're going to
I
think we should, because we're getting a little risque here. If you're streaming, like listening on YouTube, y'all, please click the link in this. Okay, I can't talk. Click the link in the description. Where we are live streaming on Rumble, Getter, and Odyssey, and we really want to convert you all to Rumble because we are going to be reading your chats live on the air. So go on Rumble, send them in, and we will be reading them. And we appreciate all of your generous donations. Okay, I got that out. I can speak again. For some reason, I just had a moment.
But it's perfect. It's just like when, like what I actually do all the time with my English. I'm just like,
yeah. It's okay. Us Anglophones have the same issue. I think we should throw to an ad while we wait for us to move on over.